Hey, this is Janet, and I'm going to perform an acoustic version of my song Possession. And it is the first single from my solo project. You can watch the music video on YouTube at youtube.com/c/JenJanet. How does one possess my body? How does one possess the soul? Can you take back the scars you already stole, already stole? How does one possess my body? How does one possess the soul? Can you take back my demons? I don't want them anymore. It's so deranged, how it's unfair to even blame you for the times you made me insane. 'Cause nothing's gonna make you change. But now my heart is so caustic, claustrophobic. You turn me to an impatient creation with two different types of sick. Two different types of sick. Where are my possessions? You took them all away, yet you take up all the space. What a waste, what a waste. Here's a personal possession, puppet moving by itself. I think it's more of an obsession, a compulsion you can't help. And it's so deranged, how it's unfair to even blame you for the times you made me insane. But nothing's gonna make you change. And now my heart is so caustic, claustrophobic. You turn me to an impatient creation. We're two different types of sick. Two different types of sick. And I don't belong to you. No, I don't belong to you. I don't belong to you. Oh, I don't belong to you. And I don't belong to you. 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 This is my song In Bloom from my 2017 EP titled Dangerous. It was like a drug. Really, really want more, need to taste it. He was my thug. Tried to break me down, but I can take it. Please don't judge me for my sins. I'm not perfect, but baby, if I was, maybe then I'd finally be worth it. Tell me, is it bad that I still think about you? Tell me, is it bad that I'm not sorry for what I do? I swear to God, if I saw your face again, I might bend and break. Wouldn't be able to fake it. Toxic. Hey, this is Janet for Glasse Factory, and I'm going to be answering some questions today. First one, how has life in quarantine been treating you? I know a lot of people have been suffering from depression quite a bit. A lot of people even became homeless or lost their jobs and things like that, so I do feel really grateful to have what I have. That being said though, it is, taking a toll on everybody, I think. So I'm just kind of taking it day by day, trying to learn a lot of new things. I ended up taking like an online class, so I think just staying positive and staying busy is really important. If you had any superpower, what would it be and why? So mine would be to be able to teleport to anywhere in the world and maybe to be able to take somebody with me. So kind of like Nightcrawler from X-Men, that would be pretty sick. What musicians inspire you in your music? This is a tough one because I listen to a lot of different types of music. So pretty much anything I hear, I think, is an influence on me. In the past, in high school, I was really influenced by Paramore, Muse, Coldplay, and then I got into some more like post-hardcore bands like I Am Ghost. And all of those things have just kind of, shaped what I like to listen to now. Now I find I listen to a lot of alternative pop artists actually, and a lot of more like I guess alternative industrial music too. So I'm really liking the new Bring Me the Horizon. I'm a huge fan of Chelsea Wolfe as well. I think she's really good at writing songs that are very emotional and conveyed with like a very gritty way. I also really like Lady Gaga. Some of my favorite metal bands are, one of them is Neo Scars from Australia, and I like that they have both a clean vocalist and a harsh vocalist, as well as a violinist. So I think the way that they blend all of those sounds together is really interesting. I found that most of the music that I really like and end up listening to over and over are things that are blending different genres and sounds that sometimes you wouldn't normally hear together. Where do you like to shop for your clothing? Alright, well, what I have on now, this scarf is actually from Cambodia. I bought it on a silk farm. So it's one of a kind, and that was really cool to be able to go there. I think the top is from Charlotte Russe, and I get a lot of other stuff from thrift stores. I also shop at Forever 21, more than I would like to admit. For comfy clothes like sweatpants and t-shirts, I really like Black Craft clothing. Pretty much anything that is has a lot of black and darker colors, and sometimes I like to blend kind of like this like floral prints, things that are more feminine but have kind of like a darker vibe. I really like that. What was it like opening with big names like Motionless in White, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and the Amity Affliction when you were with one of your bands? So most of those were actually opening festivals, and I loved that experience because at a festival you have a lot of people, and it's a nice chance for you to catch up with old friends or network with different bands that you might, be interested in checking out. A lot of festivals like that too will have both local openers and, the bigger touring bands like I just mentioned. So I think it's a really cool blend of music to have in one place. Opening for Motionless in White in particular was really cool because that was at the Rock and Shock Festival in Worcester, Massachusetts. My band ended up opening the festival twice, and it is no longer running anymore, which is kind of sad. But it was really cool because it was a horror festival, so they had all these cool like metal or like gothic bands coming in to play and headline, and then you could go next door and go check out take pictures with the guy that played Freddy Krueger or whatever, and go look at all the memorabilia and stuff there. So it was really cool because it was a convention and a huge annual music festival, and a lot of my friends ended up playing it too, so that was a really cool experience. So far my experiences have been really good. I've never been on the bill with a larger band that ended up treating people really badly, as far as I know. Yeah, everybody was really nice, and that's just been my experience, so it's really cool. On top of your solo project as Jen Janet, what other music projects are you working on? So I'm also in a band called Mimesis, and we are a progressive rock, very modern prog sounding band, and I do the vocals for that band. We have currently, I believe, 5 songs that are already out. They came out about a year ago now, and you can listen to that. It's called Mimesis, Mimesis. And we actually have new music in the works as well, and it sounds kind of similar to the older stuff, but very cinematic. So if you like bands like Pliny, Angel Vivaldi, things that are more in the modern prog world, you'll probably really, really dig it. It's a really cool project to be a part of, because that music genuinely doesn't sound anything like other music that I've done, so I find it really exciting. What is it like having your bands involved in so many music projects, not to mention doing modeling and having your degree? Well, I like to stay very busy. I don't like being bored, and I also just really like learning new things. I think it's just an enriching experience to try new things. In the past, I was also part of a gothic band called Novarium, and we put out some music together too. So I feel like I've been extremely busy with lots of different things going on, and now during the pandemic it's kind of weird because it's like there's no live shows, so I feel like things are kind of slowing down. But overall, I did used to do a lot of modeling. I don't do it as much anymore, but it was a really good experience. Like I said, I like to try new things and just see what I can learn from it, so I'm really, really glad that I did that. Currently I'm not really taking on any jobs because of the pandemic, but in the past it was really fun to meet different fashion designers and things like that. So this kind of ties into the next question: how have your college degrees impacted your writing process? I've been out of college now for a few years, and ended up going into a day job, I guess you could say. So I do kind of juggle the two, but I think it's really important, especially now, for musicians to be very upfront about that. I think in the past, a lot of people who are musicians have tried to kind of not really hide the fact that they have a day job, but there's just this idea that like, oh, you need to be a rock star and you need to like look like you're famous and doing all these things. And I think that is actually really negative. Don't really think that people should do that anymore to an extent, because it's also not fair to them. Like, people might think you have a ton of money and you really don't. You're just like struggling to get by, waiting tables while you're trying to go on tour or something. And I think it's important for the people who like the music to actually know what's going on and to understand that that's just not the way the music industry works anymore. It can't work that way. There's not a lot of money in it. People do it because they love it. And so for me, like, having the college degree and like going into more of a day job is something that I actually really liked, because it gave me a sense of stability. So I feel personally that I have enough money and time to still write my music and still put out music the way I want to, and actually be able to like pay for the things that I need to pay for, like the mixing, the mastering, recording studio time. It costs money. If I want to go and pay someone who is much more talented than me to make a video for me, I can do that, and I can just kind of like reinvest in my business, in my music, so to speak. So I think that is really important, and the way it's affected the writing process is, I don't think it's really affected me actually doing the writing very much. I think, like most people, I have times when I write more and times when I don't, times when I'm inspired and times when I'm not. But I do tend to write, I think, about lots of psychological issues, and maybe that comes from my degree. I don't know. I do tend to kind of do that. In one of my previous bands, I did an EP where each song represented a different lobe of the brain, and that was the first concept EP that I ever did, and that was really, really fun. So I think it would be cool to revisit another idea like that someday. Do you have a message or goal behind your solo project, Jen Janet? If so, what is it? I guess the answer is no. I mainly just started to do it because I had a ton of songs that they were like on a computer or in a folder somewhere that I had started writing over the course of many, many years, and I didn't really have an outlet for it at all. The bands that I was and are a part of, the sound just didn't really fit. I've always been in bands that were more heavy, so rock, metal, that kind of thing. And the music that I was writing has sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes more of a pop structure. And I really like the heavy rock vibe, so I still wanted to keep some of that, but I wanted to have room to also explore more with other sounds, especially like different electronic sounds that I liked, and different types of production. Overall, I had a lot of backlog, and some of that music I'm actually releasing now, each month. So it's just nice to kind of get it out, and even though I wrote a lot of it a few years ago, it's nice to just kind of have it out in the world. So no, I don't really have a message. Maybe I should think about that. But no, I'm not really, I'm not trying to tell anyone anything. I'm not necessarily trying to like spoon feed people, what they should believe or specific information. It's just, overall I just hope people like the music. I want people to have a good time. Some of it is a bit emotional, so, with the lyrics and stuff, I hope that people can relate to it and just, in general, provide an escape, maybe even just for a few minutes. Tell us a little about upcoming music you're working on. You just released Shadows and are working on releasing more work in the future. Can you describe the idea behind releasing a single every month for the first half of 2021? I did just release Shadows, and that was a song specifically about the pandemic. That was one of the only songs that I wrote recently. A lot of the other songs I'm releasing I wrote a long time ago. I wanted to release a single every month just because I think it's kind of nice, like a nice way to release things that have already been written a long time ago, because most of those songs, they don't really like fit a specific concept. I didn't really want them in an album because they just don't really, I don't know, to me it just doesn't make sense. Some of them I wrote like 2 years apart from each other or 3 years apart. It's also a way to get music out faster. If you write an album, you might wait 2 years before you can really release it because you're waiting until you wrote like 10 songs. So this way I feel like I can just sort of put out music whenever I want, just whenever it's done, whenever it's ready, and just so happened that I have enough for, the next few months, pretty much the first half of 2021, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching. I'm Jen Janet for Glasse Factory, and you can find me at any of the links above. Thank you.